Julie and Todd Chrisley defrauded the BP oil spill fund. Julie and Todd Chrisley will be reporting for their prison sentences on January 17, 2023. As the day approaches, more people are digging into the court documents to see what the disgraced Bravo royalty have actually done. They have been charged with bank fraud and tax fraud, as well as conspiracy charges. However, documents show that it goes a bit deeper, including defrauding the BP oil spill fund. Continue reading to find out the details. False testimony from Chrisley employees. When it comes to the case against the Chrisleys, much of the trial was muddled by false claims from employees. Julie and Todd Chrisley allegedly put Donna Cash up on the stand to lie on their behalf. According to the court documents, nearly everything she said on the stand was a lie. Cash went up on the stand to say that the Chrisleys had no knowledge of the fraud because she and Mark Braddock were the ones committing the crimes. She stated that she and Braddock committed tax fraud behind the backs of Todd and Julie Chrisley for their benefit. Additionally, Cash said that she hacked into the couple's voicemail to delete messages from banks. Not to mention, she testified that Julie and Todd Chrisley had no idea that Braddock was filing false claims with the BP oil spill fund. However, there is audio evidence of Julie asking when they could expect the check from the claim. How did Julie and Todd Chrisley defraud the BP oil spill fund? According to the court records, Julie and Todd Chrisley defrauded the BP oil spill fund by falsely claiming that their Florida vacation home had lost rental income from the oil spill, despite the fact that Julie Got Her Way had never been a rental property. The BP oil spill fund is a $20 billion trust fund intended to help homeowners impacted by the tragedy. Even though the Chrisleys were making millions of dollars every year, they couldn't pass up a chance to put more in their pockets. On top of that, Todd Chrisley claimed he lived in Florida, even though he was a resident of Roswell, Georgia. This was in an effort to avoid paying Georgia taxes. Following these facts in the 71-page document, there is a bullet point list of other alleged crimes. This included bank fraud schemes that added up to over $20 million in loans over the years. Todd Chrisley and his wife Julie even allegedly tried to scam NBC out of a few $1,000s, billing the production company for fabricated invoices. Next Tuesday, Julie and Todd Chrisley will report for their 7- and 12-year sentences, respectively. It is not yet known where either of them will serve their time, and their family attorney has confirmed that they will be filing for an appeal. The world first became familiar with Todd and Julie Chrisley when they starred in the hit reality show Chrisley Knows Best. Their lavish lifestyle, over-the-top personalities, and unique family dynamics made them beloved by fans across the country. However, behind their glamorous public image, the couple was hiding a dark secret, one that would eventually bring their world crashing down. It all started after the BP oil spill in 2010, one of the most catastrophic environmental disasters in U.S. history. The spill wreaked havoc on the Gulf of Mexico, devastating wildlife, coastal communities, and local businesses. In response to the crisis, the U.S. government established the BP Oil Spill Fund, a financial relief program designed to assist those affected by the disaster. The fund was intended to provide compensation to individuals and businesses that had been harmed by the spill, covering everything from lost wages to property damage. It was a lifeline for many who had lost everything in the aftermath of the environmental catastrophe. Yet, as with many government programs, it wasn't long before some unscrupulous individuals saw an opportunity to exploit the fund for personal gain. Julie and Todd Chrisley, whose financial troubles had been well documented by the media, were no strangers to living beyond their means. Their extravagant lifestyle, complete with designer clothes, expensive cars, and lavish homes, had always raised eyebrows. But when the opportunity to scam the BP oil spill fund presented itself, they saw it as a chance to cover up their financial mismanagement and bolster their already bloated bank accounts. At the time, the Chrisleys had already been struggling with mounting debt and financial instability. Todd's business ventures, including a real estate empire, had hit rough waters, and the couple was living paycheck to paycheck, despite their public image of wealth. They were desperate, and in their desperation, they devised a plan to defraud the government. The scheme was relatively simple, yet highly effective. Julie, who had connections to several businesses in the Gulf Coast region, fabricated a series of claims regarding the impact of the BP spill on her so-called businesses. She claimed that several of the family's rental properties, which were in areas affected by the oil spill, had suffered significant damage. These claims included false assertions about lost rental income and property devaluation due to contamination. Todd, always quick on his feet when it came to financial schemes, jumped on board, using his influence to expand the fraud. They created fake business records and submitted false documentation to the BP oil spill fund. The couple went so far as to create fake receipts, invoices, and tax records to back up their fraudulent claims. Their application, carefully crafted and loaded with fabricated evidence, painted a picture of financial devastation that they hoped would net them millions in restitution. But despite their careful planning, there were cracks in their story. The Chrisleys had underestimated the diligence of the BP oil spill fund administrators, who had launched an extensive investigation into the legitimacy of claims coming in from all corners of the Gulf Coast. The Chrisleys' claims raised red flags, as their supposed losses didn't line up with the financial records of the area. A deeper investigation revealed inconsistencies and forged documents, prompting federal authorities to launch a full-scale investigation into the Chrisleys' involvement in the scam. As authorities dug deeper, they discovered the extent of the fraud. The Chrisleys had submitted a series of fake applications under different aliases, stretching the scope of their scam across multiple states. They had used their reality TV fame to gain access to a network of people who would unknowingly help them cover up their tracks. Their charm and charisma had allowed them to manipulate people into supporting their false claims, some of whom were now cooperating with the investigation. The case against Todd and Julie Chrisley quickly gained national attention as the public's perception of the family began to shift. Fans who had once adored the Chrisleys for their larger-than-life personalities were now shocked by the revelation that the family had used a tragedy of such magnitude as a means to enrich themselves. The media couldn't get enough of the story, and soon the Chrisleys were facing a public relations nightmare. In the court of law, the Chrisleys' fate was sealed. Prosecutors presented a damning case, detailing how the couple had masterminded the elaborate scheme to defraud the BP oil spill fund. They highlighted the fabricated financial documents, fake businesses, and the network of lies that the Chrisleys had built to cover their tracks. But the couple's downfall wasn't just financial, it was personal as well. Their children, who had once been proud of their family's success, were devastated by the scandal. Todd and Julie's actions had not only tarnished their reputation, but also put their children's future at risk. The Chrisleys' empire of luxury homes and businesses came crumbling down as lawsuits piled up, and the once gilded family found themselves facing serious criminal charges. Todd and Julie Chrisley were eventually convicted on multiple counts of fraud, conspiracy, and money laundering. Their sentencing was swift and severe, as the court took into account the magnitude of their crime and the damage they had caused to both the BP oil spill fund and the victims who had truly suffered from the disaster. The Chrisleys were sentenced to prison time, and their assets were seized to pay back the defrauded funds. While their conviction marked the end of an era for the Chrisleys, it served as a cautionary tale about the dangers of greed, and the lengths some will go to in order to maintain a facade of wealth. The BP Oil Spill Fund, originally established to help those in need, had been exploited by the very people who should have been the most grateful for the assistance it provided.